Message from Starfleet Command, top priority.
You are listening to the TrekRanks podcast, a member of the Tricorder Transmissions Podcast Network. This is episode 177, featuring the top 5 kisses. Welcome, Star Trek fans. I'm Jim Moorhouse. I'm the host of the TrekRanks podcast, and tonight we are getting up close and personal with a topic that has been on my planning list for a long time. Tonight we're doing the top 5 kisses in Star Trek history, which really gets the mind racing when you start thinking about all the different ways you can approach a steamy or completely platonic topic like this one. So for a massive topic like this, we have 3 great guests tonight, all veterans of the TrekRanks podcast. First up, returning for her 22nd appearance, she is visiting us from the Philadelphia Protectorate. It's the great Jenn Tifft. Jenn, welcome.
Thanks. It's great to be here. Love this topic.
Great to have you back. And our second guest tonight is returning for his 10th appearance on TrekRanks, hailing us from Starbase Tucson, our good friend Matt Hansen. Matthew.
I'm glad to be back. I can't believe it's been 10 shows, but I'm so happy to be back.
Somehow you're in double digits now. And our third guest, we will get her to double digits. She is back for her 4th go-around on TrekRanks, a Federation ambassador from the LA sector. It's Teresa Jusino. Teresa.
Hi. I feel like I'm the baby. Yeah.
No way. Not at 4. At 4 is a lot. And you've been on some cool topics. You were on, I got my notes here, time travel, coolest episode titles, and Discovery Season 3 moments. That's pretty good.
Yes, and I love this one. Can't wait.
Pretty good. And now kisses. Okay. This is going to be incredible. Let's get our TrekRanks recalibration out of the way.
What are you recalibrating?
Everything. It's a sweeping, a recalibration of all systems.
Okay, the TrekRanks Charter has 2 clauses. 1, we rank Trek so we can have a fun conversation about Star Trek. And 2, the ranks don't matter. We just use them as the framework to have a deep dive conversation about all the things we love about Trek. Because, as Mr. Spock himself has said, our show is all about
infinite diversity in infinite combinations, symbolizing the elements that create truth and beauty.
There are no wrong answers at TrekRanks. This show is about sharing the things we love about Trek, and we love it all from TOS to TNG, straight to Enterprise and the Kelvin timeline, and now Discovery, Picard, Strange New World, Short Treks, Lower Decks, and Prodigy as well. It's all fair game here on the TrekRanks podcast.
Black alert. Black alert.
And a reminder that this episode of TrekRanks is current through the 4th season of Star Trek Lower Decks and 903 overall episodes of Star Trek across the past 57 years. And one final reminder, we use episodes as a shorthand term, but the 13 films are always in play as well.
Hailing frequencies open.
Thank you, Mr. Worf. You can hail me directly on Twitter at TrekRanks or at Enterprise NXtra, and on Blue Sky at TrekRanks. You can see our extensive rankings of all the Treks at TrekRanks.com. And don't forget to call and leave us a message with your own picks at 609-512-LLAP. That's 609-512-5527. All right, Jenn, Matt, and Teresa, let everyone know how they can get a hold of you on Subspace. Jenn.
Yeah, you can message me on Twitter. I'm at Eda Quarks. I'm not as active as I used to be, but I'll still see, a DM or a message. So that's the way.
Okay, Matt, how about you?
You can find me on Twitter at mhansen0207, HANSEN, talking about a bunch of nerdy things, but I'm also heavy into politics these days. So if that's not your thing, I totally get it, but it's an election year.
Matt fighting the good fight on Twitter. And Teresa, how about you?
I can best be found on Instagram and Threads at Teresa Jusino, and then on TikTok at Teresa Jusino 711.
Ooh, TikTok. There we go.
My old butt is on TikTok. Yes, it is. I'm your weird Xennial aunt on TikTok.
Not old. All right. We are going to skip our diagnostic cycle this week and get straight in to see how everyone broke down their Prime directives for the top 5 kisses.
Do they know about Prime Directive?
They know everything I know, sir.
And you're about to know everything we know about our Prime Directive. So, Jenn, we're going to start with you. How did you break this one down and finalize your picks? I can't wait to hear it.
I love this topic so much.
So much.
So much fun. This is probably the most fun TrekRanks homework ever. So I did something a little different this time. Usually when I have a topic, I sit down and I make a long list of whatever pops in my head. But then, as the days go on, I think about it more. And then when something pops into my head, like I'll be driving and I'll be like, Siri, make a note, Way of the Warrior, and add to it, and then whittle it down. But with this one, what I did was I sat down and I made a long list. I thought about every kiss that has stuck with me. And I said, every kiss on my list has to be on my initial list. Like it has to have stuck with me so much that it came right into my head. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, because that's, that's part of what it makes a good kiss, is how memorable it is, how you still think about it, later. And so I did this. So I was surprised how many kisses I could remember off the top of my head. So I had a lot to pick from, but I wanted to make sure that it was one of the ones that, was right on the tip of my brain. So it was so much fun. Yeah, it was hard. It was hard to pick the top 5, but
no, that sounds like a good way to do it. So instead of diving deep and trying to come up with the most clever, creative one, it was those ones that right off the top of your head.
Yeah, the ones that just stuck with me so much that I could think of them right off the top of my head. Yeah,
I love it. Okay, Matt, how about you?
Well, first things first, because Jen just used the phrase "kiss" on my list, I petition that we put Hall & Oates somewhere in this show.
You got to do it.
Okay. Well, I've got some other sound bites ready to go that are going to be fun ones. So,
but Jim, you always have me on for like these huge, big, like franchise-wide topics. It's so hard to like nail down a certain prime directive whenever I'm on. And I don't get me wrong, I love it.
This one's big,
but it's a tall order to sift through. What did you say? It's almost 1,000 entries into Star Trek these days?
903.
Yeah. So I initiated this week what I like to call sandwich protocol. In that my number 5 and my number 1 are kind of like silly, whimsical entries. And the 3 in between, sandwiched in between, are the more serious ones.
Ooh, okay. I love that. This is cool because my 1st and 5th pick are bookend too. They complement each other. This is fantastic. Okay, Teresa, how about you? How did you tackle this one?
Yeah, it's funny, and I also think that you choose me for stuff that's like, well, except for the Discovery one, but like things that are like I could pick from anything.
Massive.
But I right off the bat, I decided I want this to be kisses between actual like couples.
Ooh, okay.
So that eliminated like a lot, surprisingly, like or like not kisses necessarily between couples, but kisses that are wanted by both people and are genuine. Yeah. So yeah, that eliminated a lot. I was like, whoa, half the kisses don't apply. But then the other one was they had to be couples that I liked. So, people that I was like, oh, those two, yes. So those are my 2 criteria, and I narrowed it down.
So if it's not necessarily a couple, but could become a couple, that's
could become a couple. Maybe weren't a couple at the time.
Yep.
No spoilers, but yes.
All right. Yeah, I think we're all similar because this one is so massive. I kept it simple, stupid, which that's stands for KISS.
KISS.
Anyone who doesn't get it, keep it simple, stupid. Corporate lingo 101 on TrekRanks. So, and I created a massive list of anything I could think of that just seemed like a worthy pick. Then I tried to mix it up a little bit from there and get a variety of my choices. But the key thing for me to make my list of great kisses was the kiss had to be more than just a kiss. So it had to say something bigger about the moment or the characters. So that's kind of what my list feels like, these big, grand, epic moments punctuated by a kiss.
I love that.
Yeah, that's my final breakdown. So, but yeah, I got a long list of secondary systems. And I know you do too, Jen, but you're going to keep it short when we get there.
I promise.
Okay. All right.
I can't promise I'll try, but I'll try to keep it short.
All right, let's do it. Third Hermaticon, introduce us to the order of things.
I am a Jem'Hadar. He is a Vorta. It is the order of things.
Thank you, Third Hermaticon. As always, everyone will start with their 5-word summary and a hashtag to tease their pick. Then we'll each reveal our top 5 kiss choices and the reasons we're highlighting it. And after getting through 5 rounds of picks, we'll get into some secondary system selections for everyone and Remember, if you have any duplicate picks, make sure you listen for the Defiant Torpedoes. Okay, Jen, we're starting with you. What's your number 5 pick for your top 5 kisses?
Okay, my first kiss is 5 words and a hashtag. A kiss so good that hashtag she can tell you're not you. This is TOS season 2, episode 10, Mirror Mirror. Wow. And this is Kirk and Mira Marlena.
Oh, that's so good.
And oh, it's so good. First of all, I mean, I love the character of Mira Marlena so much. I think she's complex and interesting, considering how short, of screen time she has. She's a woman. She's a career woman who works in the chem lab, but she's also the captain's woman, and you could see that. And there's conflicting nature there. And the kiss itself happens because he rejects her, because he's trying to get back to his universe. He's got,
because he's Kirk, stand-up guy.
He's stand-up guy, right? Yeah. And
except for that one time in Bread and Circuses, but we're not going to talk about that. Keep going.
That's not on my list. But she takes that as to mean that he doesn't want to be with her anymore, and she's talking about what she can do in her life, how she has her rank, she has her job, she has, but she could also try to be another captain's woman because she likes it, and she has all this, and Kirk said, he says you could be anything you want to be. You could tell he's captivated by her. And and he pulls her in for this kiss, and he does that Kirk thing where he pulls her in so freaking close and tight, you know what I mean? That like, she's like pressed against him, and they have this wonderful kiss that's very hot and steamy. But the reason I love it is because it's this kiss that tips her off to the fact that he's not her Kirk. She even says to him after they kiss, she's like, "You're a stranger," It's been a long time that you kissed me like that, and it starts her gears going, and she's so smart, that she figures out that something's going on, and she ends up helping them later, and wanting to go. Like, kiss so good, I just said a kiss so good she wants to she wants you to take her to a parallel universe. She ends up wanting to go with him, and it's just a very steamy moment, but it's also an important moment for the plot, but also for this character I think is underrated and underappreciated. I just love her.
That's perfect. Your 5 words and a hashtag totally had me. The kiss that reveals it's not who you think it is. Oh my God, I love this. Matt, what's your take on Kirk and Marlena and Mirror Mirror?
Yeah, hashtag oiling my traps, darling.
Oh,
but
in that beautiful caftan.
Yeah, I mean,
she's amazing.
Just her introduction of her like laying in the bed with
the whole thing.
With the beauty lighting, the female beauty lighting,
the Vaseline on the lens.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic for all the reasons that you mentioned, and I love the fact that it sets up the serious nature of the relationship that our Kirk has with her, but I love how it also kind of sets up the end joke where Kirk has to pretend not to know who Prime Marlena is.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, right.
I'm so bummed we didn't see her again.
That was so good. So good, Teresa.
That would have made things awkward forever. Like,
yeah, right.
That should have been a running thread throughout the series. No, and I love this pick, and like stuff like anything in Mirror Universe, I wasn't considering because of my criteria or whatever. But like, this is such a great one, and it's true that not only does it wake her up to the fact that it's not him, but that, it also inspires her to be like, take me with you. Also, the fact that he's like encouraging her and whatever. She's like, oh my God, is this what it's like to have a partner respect you?
Right.
Like,
Yes.
Right. That's the moment.
It's the first time he probably ever valued her opinion.
Makes it so special. And their chemistry is off the charts. I love this pick. Okay, Matt, what's your number 5 pick?
So like I said, my number 5 and my number 1 are my more whimsical picks. And this was the first pick that I thought of when you gave me this assignment, Jim. So my 5 words are the best Trek dirt face, hashtag Kathy, you're a genius. It's from Q2 when Q kisses Janeway after giving him parental advice and then disappears.
Okay,
And the reason I put this on there is because it's one of my favorite still shots of the whole Star Trek universe, Pause it on Kate Mulgrew's reaction after just getting kissed, and it's the funniest thing ever.
Okay, very whimsical kiss. I'm glad this is what I was hoping we get with this. There's some different types of kisses because.
So I have nothing deep to offer. I'm sorry that I don't inspire much conversation, but I mean,
no, you could do because this is you could do a lot of cute whimsical kisses. That's the beauty of it. Jen, what's your take on Q and Janeway?
No, I actually like the Q and Janeway stuff. She's just so exasperated with him. How we talk about how like Cisco had a different take on Q than Picard. He just punched him and then he never bothered him ever again. But I think Janeway and Q's relationship is more like they're both.
There's a meta element to it because they're such good friends in real life, John Delancey and Kate Mulgrew. That's one thing I really enjoy about it.
Yeah, I think that shows in the episodes too, because I think they both like they seem like kindred spirits in a way almost. Yeah. So I think that's a fun pick.
Teresa, any hot take on Q2?
No hot takes. Just I just love when Janeway was allowed to kiss anyone, just because
yes.
Right. It's like there was always that weird balance between she's a woman captain, and it's but she can also be a person, who wants people and has romance and whatever and all that. And and also I just love Q in general. So anything involving Q, I'm pro.
I love that Matt's first pick is going to make me now keep a consent statistic in my stats. I'm not doing that. Just kidding. Okay. Teresa, what's your number 5 pick?
All right. My and I'm glad the movies are in play.
Of course.
Ooh. You loved it. #Imzadi. Troy and Riker in Star Trek Insurrection.
Oh, that's so good.
Are we talking the yuck scene?
Yuck, yes. Oh. I was yuck.
It's such a great moment.
I kiss you and you say yuck. It's so great. Mostly because that kiss is so indicative of their relationship, the comfort level, the fun playfulness, the deep connection. It's all there, even though this is a really funny kind of not a throwaway scene, but it's not, it's them finding their way back to each other, but it's not central necessarily, but it's just joy, and those two together doing anything is always so much fun.
I need a little counseling.
Well, it's the first time for everything.
So do I lie down or what?
Well, whatever makes you comfortable, but this isn't one of the usual therapeutic postures.
But it is comfortable.
Mm-hmm. Why don't you try sitting up?
Why don't you try lying down?
Well, you're in quite a mood today. Do you really need counseling, or did you come down here to play?
I think I'm having a midlife crisis.
I believe you.
I'm not sleeping well.
Dr. Crusher has something that can take care of that.
What I need, I can't get from Dr. Crusher. Counselor, do you think it's possible for 2 people to go back in time, fix a mistake they've made?
On this ship, anything's possible. Yuck!
Yuck?
I never kissed you with a beard before.
I kiss you and you say yuck?
And that kiss in particular, it's we love each other. That's just a fact.
It says all those things, and it is critical to it's one of the most defining elements of that they're recapturing their youth, which is kind of the whole point of Insurrection.
Yeah.
And Riker's reaction, I kiss you and you say yuck, so good. So
with his face in the door. And that's my favorite. The door's closing and he's still there.
And the joy on Troy's face.
I love I was gonna say I love when she tosses the lipstick.
It's adorable. It is it's so good. Jen, any take on this?
Yeah, I also love this because it sets up that hot scene when they're in the bubble bath and she's shaving him. Sexy is that?
Yup.
I love it so much.
Take it back to you, Admiral.
She's grooming her man to her specifications.
Apparently wasn't very sexy to film because I think Marina sort of said the water was actually cold. So
oh no,
that's not okay.
Stop ruining the experience, Matt.
Well, I guess
Yeah.
then you don't want me to tell you, Jim, about how the fact that Troy actually kissed Thomas Riker, who had a beard. And
I always had that as a line. Like, I never kissed you with a beard before, except when it was your brother.
Yeah, no, it's like that's not the first time.
She was okay with his beard.
Okay, let's go to round 5. My pick to close it out. What do I got here? Oh, I love this pick. This is the moment that kind of, for me, it sums up our original Star Trek heroes and the relationships and the performances, and is a nice bookend to my number 1 pick, which we'll get to. 5 words and a hashtag. What is it with you anyway? Hashtag still think we're finished. And it is Martia kissing Kirk in Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country. And she, of course, is Iman, the shapeshifter in Rura Penthe. And I feel like this kiss is the perfect ribbon on the top of the character of James T. Kirk across, at that point, I guess probably about 35 years of his action and his reputation and his, he's obviously, we can talk about him being kind of misunderstood as a ladies' man, but this scene for me is just 1000% perfection. The writing, the tone, and the performances. So when obviously Shatner's great and Iman is great, but the key to the whole thing is the reaction from DeForest Kelley after they kiss and they make these plans. And then he just gets up and says, what is it with you anyway? We're in this prison and you're making out in the first night. I love that moment. Incredible. Jen, what's your take?
Yeah, I love it. He's like classic Jim.
Exactly.
Oh, you're right though. It's a great scene, and it's acted so well, and it's just you're right. I like the way you say that it kind of does it encapsulates part of Jim's character in such a very movie way, I love it.
And really right at the end of kind of everything that we've seen. I mean, it's the last time Kirk and McCoy are together. So Matt, what's your take?
I didn't realize that.
Well, I mean, I love this for several reasons. First off, hot take, my favorite Star Trek film. I think that the TOS characters were never more complex or rich than they are in that last outing. Second of all, it just proves to me that why McCoy is my favorite character in all of TOS. It's the character that I would want to play if I was ever in TOS. And it's just fantastic. And, doesn't hurt that it's, Shatner kissing Mrs. Bowie at the time.
Yes. Yeah, that as well. Teresa?
I'm ashamed of myself because this movie and the motion picture are the 2 TOS movies that I remember the least. So I was like, oh yeah, he did kiss Iman. Yeah. Whenever I rewatch TOS movies, it's always 2 through 4. I watch those and then I skip to First Contact. So this movie is a huge blind spot for me. So my hot take is that I didn't remember it until just now, but I'm glad you're reminding me. And also, that it is such a complex movie for the characters. Now I need to rewatch it because I'm like, oh yeah, I haven't been giving this movie its due. So I should.
Well, the Rura Penthe stuff is legendary, and I love that moment.
Yeah.
So I had to
Not
have it on my
everyone keeps
list.
their genitals in the same place.
No, they don't. Thank you, Iman. Okay, round 4. Jen, what's your number 4 pick?
Oh no. Okay. My number 4 pick. 5 words. A kiss so good that #the hangover lasted 3 days. This is Voyager season 6, episode 11, Fairhaven, Janeway, and Michael Sullivan.
Love it.
Now, hear me out.
No, this is great. I love
First of all, Teresa brought it up how, she was just how you said how you were happy when Janeway got to kiss anyone, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's kind of what this whole kiss is about. She even says when they kiss, she's like, I think I've waited long enough, right before they kiss. But it's great. I'm sorry. She is living the dream here. We've all had that experience where you meet someone and you're vibing with them and then they say something that's immediately disqualifying, you can see her face drop when he says he doesn't read, So, but she could fix that, right? She goes right to the holodeck. She fixes that. She, gives him an education, and that annoying little detail of the wife, takes care of all that. So he's basically made to her specifications, which is fun, Like, why wouldn't you want to romance your perfect holodeck character? But the kiss itself is just so lovely because, she's really getting into it. She's got her elaborate costume, and her hair up, and they're dancing in the pub, having the time of their life. You could see like the joy on her face when she's dancing, and the music's playing, and she's just having just the best time. And the music ends and they lock eyes, and then another dream come true. She could just say, computer erase all the characters except for Michael Sullivan. So all of a sudden they're alone, and they have this lovely exchange. He says, something like, do you mind if I kissed you? And they kiss, and it's wonderful. And she needed it so bad, and she waited so long. And with my hashtag, she stayed in the holodeck for 3 days after that scene. 3 days.
What?
That's how good that kiss was. 3 days.
Oh, wait, is that real? I mean,
yes.
The timetable on that is she was there for 3 days hanging out?
3 days after that kiss, yeah. Both Michael Sullivan and Janeway say it was 3 days, yeah. Because she's in the hallway with the doctor, and the doctor's giving her grief about it, and he's like, well, did you have relations? And she looks at him, and like, you're gonna do personal. She's something like, well, it was an amazing 3 days or something like that.
Incredible.
And he says it too. He's like, the best 3 days of my life.
I love it.
That's a hell of a kiss. That's worthy of being on this list.
Wow. Matt, what's your take on Fairhaven and Janeway and Michael Sullivan?
Well, I will admit that the Fairhaven episodes are not my favorite.
Are your favorites?
In all of Voyager. But in the interest of saying something positive, I do like what Jen had to say about it. And let's be honest, Janeway is using the holodeck the way that the holodeck would be used if it was a thing.
Right.
Let's not pretend that we're all prudish here. We know exactly what we would be doing in the holodeck if it was real.
Okay, Matt, so your number one whimsical pick is not going to be Harry kissing the Maggie the cow in spirit in this
Spirit folk.
Spirit folk,
yeah.
Okay, Teresa, any take on Janeway and Michael Sullivan?
Yeah, no, I was gonna say a version of what Matthew said, which is like, I love when people use the holodeck for reasons that would actually be used, and not like, obviously the sex stuff, and like somebody has to clean out these filters. But Voyager's out there all alone, like limited supply of a limited crop of people that you can choose from, so at a certain point you're gonna turn to the holodeck for stuff like that, like, because at a certain point you've either dated everyone or no, you don't want to date anyone on your crew. So then it's like, where do you go?
Janeway's so lonely.
Yeah.
She deserves this. I hate that she feels guilty about it.
Right. And that's the thing is like, I mean, if you're telling me my choices for a holodeck are either, go fight this losing battle for fun or, a date with a holographic Chris Evans, I know which one I'm going for.
Right. But that's hot for Klingon though. Like a Klingon be like, yeah, fight this battle and then have sex.
Well, here we go. I love it. Great pick, Jen. Matt, what is your number 4 pick?
Okay, now we get into my 3 serious ones. I figured this was going to come up at some point, but I think it's important to include because it was very impactful for its time. 5 words in a hashtag, lovers in a past life, hashtag I've missed you. It's when Jadzia reconnects with Lenara in Rejoined. And,
fantastic.
And I did rewatch the scene as I was preparing my list, and I'm surprised at how genuine it is. Like they could have played this up for sex appeal or titillation, but it's really 2 people who are reconnecting after having never seen each other for decades. And it may not be the most progressive thing ever because it comes out of a heterosexual relationship that they had in past lives, but for 1996 it was actually very forward thinking. I mean, you have to remember that was the same year that Defense of Marriage Act was passed and Don't Ask, Don't Tell was initiated. So for its time, it was very impressive. And the scene is just good.
Oh, it's a fantastic scene, fantastic episode. I'm so glad you picked it. I mean, it's a huge moment in Star Trek. And the Susanna Thompson and Terry Farrell, incredible in that whole episode. Their chemistry and their reconnecting I love this episode and I love that moment. It's so well done.
I love it so much. I love the performances. Like the kiss itself is acted so well because this is not a first kiss. You know what I mean?
Right.
These are two, it's their first kiss in these buys, but these are two people who have kissed before, who know each other and have such passion for each other. And it shows. And it's just so, I mean, you could feel the emotion. Oh,
I don't want to do anything to hurt you. I did that before. I climbed into a shuttlecraft and I made you a widow.
I knew you were a pilot when I married you. I knew the risks. I went into it with my eyes wide open.
And what about now? Are your eyes open? Do you know what the risks are?
I thought I'd gotten over you. It's been so long and so much has happened. And now I know I haven't.
I still picture Jadzia's face when Lenora leaves, you know, and how hurt she is. And it's just, it pains me just to think about it.
I've missed you. I've missed you so much.
Oh, it's a wonderful episode and a beautiful, beautiful kiss. Great pick.
Love this kiss, and it didn't, make my list, but it really was progressive for its time, and I'm always down for any queerness that can be shown on or in Star Trek.
I better go.
Yeah, and I love Dax kissing anyone, honestly. Like, Dax is one of my favorite kissers in Star Trek. So, there you go.
It doesn't hurt that she's my favorite character in all of Star Trek that I put this on the list.
Dax doing anything is on the list. I love it.
Truth.
Okay, Teresa, what's your number 4 pick?
My number 4, 5 words in a hashtag. What's like phasering between friends? Hashtag Beckifer. This is Lower Decks, Season 3, Episode 6. Hear All, Trust Nothing, Mariner and Jennifer.
Awesome.
She has just phasered all of Jennifer's friends, and just before phasering herself and Jennifer, they kiss. She does a phaser to both of them selfie style, and they collapse. I love that kiss so much because it's weird how it's both a, Mariner thing to do, but also a weird moment of vulnerability. For so long, she was this isn't a thing. And then it's enough of a thing that she's meeting this girl's friends. And then she hates them, but she's trying to navigate that because she likes Jennifer. And then it's all of that is summed up in this, we're doing this together, So so much was said with that kiss, and it was so fun.
This pick is brilliant. I kind of thought about Lower Decks if there was anything, and nothing jumped out at me. But this moment is so great. And your 5 words and hashtag phasering all her friends, and then they phaser themselves. It's so good. It's just, how can a cartoon relationship between Mariner and Jennifer feel so authentic and real in the way they built it up and paid it off across a couple of seasons? Jen, what's your take?
I love this pick. Yeah, because like you said, when they're we're doing this together is what it felt like. And what's nice about that is because she, she doesn't want to hurt Jennifer's feelings, that she hates her friends, but then, she tells Jennifer and she's like, yeah, you're right. My friends do kind of suck. Let's kiss and phaser each other. So it's really a sweet moment.
She's I'm friends with them.
Yeah,
I know.
Right. It's a really sweet moment between the two. I love it. It's a great pick.
I'm like you, Jim. I didn't really think of Lower Decks aside from the only one that I kept coming back to that I remember was, Boimler's lover bug from the first season.
I figured you were going to say Shax and Tiana.
Yeah, well, that too.
Lover.
But no, this is great. And it actually makes me kind of realize that, out of all the Star Treks, Lower Decks is kind of the most relatable for us, quote unquote, normal people. Because, when you think about it, a lot of the normal shows, there are these aspirational characters of who we would want to be and hopefully finding ourselves within them. And the beauty of Lower Decks is that these are just regular folks in Starfleet just trying to make it from day to day. And I've been in relationships where it's you have to smile and pretend to like every one of their friends. So
wow, yeah, fantastic deep cut. Oh my God, stop saying lover. It's one of my favorite Mariner lines.
So good. So good.
I have taken a lover.
It has been a long time since I've taken a lover, let alone a lover like Barb. I am staying here and I am making love to my lover.
Oh, please stop saying lover.
All right, let's close out round 4, and I am cheating on this one. It's a twofer, 5 words and a hashtag. Simmering emotion of 2 connected kisses, hashtag. I want to feel this. And this is the Serene Squall and Charades, and it is Spock and Chapel. First, Serene Squall, incredible kiss, the ruse of an affair between Spock and Chapel at the end of this episode, right in front of T'Pring. I mean, it's a long kiss. It's absolutely an emotional powerhouse after kind of figuring out what the showrunners were doing with these characters at the start of Strange New Worlds, and you see them kiss like this. It was amazing after, literally 50 years of living with these characters and their simmering emotions, and all of a sudden you're seeing this kiss in front of you. And I love that later T'Pring says about his human side that she's like, oh, there's actually value in your human side because there's no way you could have sold the passion of that kiss without it. Oh boy, yes, he could. So the whole thing just really hits. And then one season later, I could not pick the Serene Squall without picking Charades. I had to pick these two together because they pay off each other so well. So this is the one with the actual kiss that we get at the end of Charades. And this one's even more passionate. The best part of this one is I was tricked and convinced in this episode that we weren't going to get this kiss because they set it up where he's still human in the middle of the ritual, and she comes in with the genome to kind of change him back to a Vulcan. And I love the moment, by the way, when he sees her before. He just says, I'm glad to see you're okay. I was really worried about you. And he's like smiling. It's so great. And he's about to tell her how he feels. And bam, she injects him with the genome, and he stops, goes back to the thing. And I'm like, that's it. We're there. We're done. They're not going to go there. And then a few minutes later, they completely tricked me. T'Pring and him and Spock break up. He's sad in his quarters. Christine shows up, and he basically tells her that he needed to break up because he has feelings for someone else, and he doesn't want to suppress this one any longer. I want to feel this. And wham, fucking incredible kiss between the two of them at the end of this episode. It literally cuts it. He's like, what does this mean? I don't know. Shut up. End of the episode. Incredible show. I love these 2 picks. There's no way I could not pick these 2 characters. Jen, I think you're gonna like this one.
Oh my God, yes. So hot. I'm so glad that they waited until he was himself again. It meant first of all, she has guts. He was about to say something very meaningful, and she shoots him up. She's like, no, I don't want to hear anything until it's completely you again, because she really loves him. All love him. Yep. And that kiss, I love it. I like that you picked both of these. It's like their 2 first kisses,
Right.
Oh my gosh, because the Serene Squall, it's just so how anyone could have witnessed that and and lied to themselves that nothing was actually happened. No one can act that good.
Nobody can act that good.
I guess Ethan Peck, I guess they can, but you know what I mean? Like, it's just the chemistry, and the Charades is just a it's an almost perfect episode to me, and just ending it like that. When I was like you, I did not think we were going to get that, and then we did, and wow, it's like, okay, we're doing this. I love it. I love this for them.
The thing that I love about these choices and about Strange New Worlds in general when it comes to Spock and Chapel is that, not to diss what they did, back in the 60s, because the writing styles were different, but I love that Strange New Worlds was able to take this relationship that Chapel had with Spock in the original series, where it was kind of played like, oh, it's this, woman who just has this hopeless little love for the perpetually unavailable man. and the comedy that goes with it. I like how they took that concept and made it something real and deep, so that when you get to those episodes again in TOS, you realize that they actually have a more complex history than we would have known. And it makes their relationship and by default, both characters a lot more complex. So I love what Strange New Worlds has done for their relationship.
Exactly that. And I was going to say, I love what Strange New Worlds did for Chapel specifically. Yeah. Like, no disrespect to Majel, but Chapel as a character on Strange New Worlds is so nuanced and has so much going on. And, you know, her feelings for Spock are complex. Her feelings about her job are complex. And I love how brave she is. Like, she everything she does, there's this bravery kind of this brave undercurrent under everything she does. Like, she, as much as she's been through and as much as she's experienced, like, she still is willing to take the big chances, including the big emotional chances. And I love that you bookended these. Like, that makes total sense, because there is that payoff, and it shows kind of Ethan Peck as Spock. Like, he's great and I love him, but like, there's certain things in every, you know, in his portrayal of Spock, in Zachary Quinto, in Leonard Nimoy, that is very much the same. Like, we see the Spock things. For Chapel, it's like, I feel like this version of Chapel is becoming definitive for me. Yeah, I don't know why I went on a rant about Chapel, but I love her on Strange New Worlds, and like, and these two kisses are part of why.
I love Chapel too, but I kind of like her in Strange New Worlds for the same reason that, like, I like knowing that what Pike can happen to Pike. Like, we know Pike doesn't get a happy ending. We know that, you know, Chapel doesn't really either. She just becomes someone who, you know, just seems a little sad, you know, a little like beaten down by life. And that sucks. But guess what? That's real. Like, not everybody gets the happy ending, you know? So it's kind of nice to see that she did have, you know, moments where she was more, you know, got to be more vibrant, and you know, that's still in her. And, you know, maybe she'll have more of that instead of the kind of the sad person that we see most often in TOS. But I think it adds it's such a depth to her character. I just love it.
But I would like to think, though, that to your point, Teresa, about Strange New Worlds Chapel being definitive, I would like to think that if TOS were written today, the version of Chapel that Major would have played would have been similar to this.
Yeah. And Jen made a good point too, that as we get older, you know, we change. Like, this is young Chapel. Like, very clearly, she ages and things happen, and you get jaded, right. And like, or, you know, there's certain situations that can't be helped, and that's how it works. Yeah, but like, you know, I agree though, Matt, that like, hopefully this would be what we would see now if TOS were being created now, that Chapel would be more like this, and we'd see her more of her professional life, that girl that sang "I'm Ready," like, we'd see that in adult Chapel also.
And full shout out to Ethan Peck and Jess Bush, because they both are amazing.
They are so amazing. They're so good.
Okay, we are going to the soup round.
Why don't you try the soup instead?
Jen, what's your number 3 pick?
My soup round pick. 5 words. A kiss so good that #it was worth waiting 500,000 years for. And this is, you know, this one. I had to figure it. TOS season 2, episode 22, Return to Tomorrow.
Yep.
And this is the kiss between Sargon and Thalassa, but they're in Kirk and Anne Mulhall's bodies. So that's who we see on screen. But it's the aliens that have that Kirk and Anne have let switch. Well, I guess they didn't like switch. I guess they did kind of switch bodies, because they're in those little orbs while the aliens are inhabiting their bodies. Gosh, I picked this one because she likes being in her body. You know, she likes what it means to be able to feel. And, you know, she talks to Sargon about it, and she wants him to consider, you know, what if we stay in these bodies, you know, and obviously that's the wrong thing to do, because they don't belong to them, you know. And he says, you know, when they're in their robot bodies, he's like, our thoughts will intertwine. And this is when it gets so good, because then she's like, she touches them. She's like, will they intertwine like this? Can minds press close like this? Can robot lips do this? And then she says it in this. This is great because, first of all, Diana Muldaur is just, she's beautiful and she's sexy. And even with that weird reverberating thing that they use on her voice to make it be like the alien voice, it still sounds so hot and so sexy. And they kiss, and robots aren't gonna feel that, right? And it's funny because right after, I guess she takes the last of his metabolism because he passes out and dies. So that's one hell of a kiss.
Feel the touch of my hand, husband.
No, beloved. If we torment ourselves.
Beloved. What will that word mean to a machine?
Our thoughts will intertwine.
Will they, husband? Will they intertwine like this? Can two minds press close like this? Can robot lips do this?
I just love that the idea of that scene is just a celebration of being able to feel things like that, like with our bodies, like just the physicality of a kiss, and what that's just something so beautiful and wonderful, and it's like a celebration of that, and I think that's really neat. I just really like that scene a lot.
Oh, a worthy selection. Incredible TOS moment. I mean, it's an all-time great moment in TOS. It's super underrated. Sargon and Kirk and Mulhall and Thalesa. I love it so much. Matt, what's your take?
The thing, well, first of all, I have to agree that, she was an attractive older woman, but Diana Muldaur in the 60s, she's got those striking eyes that just like stare into your soul. Gorgeous. They're gorgeous. But the thing that I love, and I'm just going to jump off and talk about, her character in general, Thalesa rather, is that it would be really easy in the 60s to make the woman of these aliens, the vain one that wants to stay in the bodies and is going to be selfish and do whatever it takes. She's actually one of the wiser ones. It's Spock's character that's the vain one and the selfish one. So it makes her character a lot more complex for a female character in the 60s. She ends up transcending and becomes much more of a full-fledged character rather than just the quote-unquote love interest. And the kiss is great. I'm not taking away from that, but my favorite scene of her is actually when she stops herself from killing McCoy, when she realizes that the power is she's too drunk with it.
Right. Yeah. She has her moment of weakness, and then she's like, oh yeah, this is
and by the way, shout out to Nurse Chapel in this episode. She's a hero.
Yes.
Teresa, what's your
take?
She
saves the day.
Yeah.
Yes. No, I just want to echo what's already been said about the celebration of the physicality of it. For some reason now I was thinking of random thought about Demolition Man, and how sex becomes this thing that you do in VR that because you don't want to actually touch people. And that's the opposite extreme of this. It's like, no, but it's actually having a body is great. Although now, of course, you brought up this pick and I'm now thinking, but wait, so but what we feel in our bodies is connected to our brains. So if you're just a consciousness, would you still be able to feel something? But if there's not a receptor for that, now I'm just thinking about the practicality of wait, but couldn't you have a physical sensation if you're just whatever? Somebody who's smart than me should help me.
Bottom line, that one's going into our hot and steamy statistical column. Matt.
Well, wait, before we move on though, also a shout out to 5-Year Mission's song for this episode for Return Tomorrow. It's my favorite 5-Year Mission song. It captures the passion of it. Oh,
5-Year
so
Mission.
Great.
Go listen to Return to Tomorrow. This song is incredible. If you like any kind of alternate pop music, modern, it's music. It's the best. Return to Tomorrow. Can robot lips do this? Okay, Matt, what's your number 3 pick?
My number 3 pick is a kiss that I loved at the time when I first saw the episode, but it's a kiss that has so much more meaning now and has developed so much that it makes this kiss even better. 5 words in a hashtag. Perhaps we should be afraid. Hashtag give it 30 years. Crusher Picard kiss and foreshadow the future in Attached.
Yes.
And I mean, like I said, I loved it at the time because, at least for me, Picard and Crusher were the ones that I always wanted to get together. And then, the finale gave me Worf and Troy, but we won't talk about that. But post Picard season 3, this kiss is even better. So I had to put it on my list.
That's a fantastic pick, and it's also there's melancholy in this.
There's melancholy,
right?
but then
with your 5,
but now knowing what happens, like it's even better.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, your 5 words and hashtag really kind of nailed it. Jen, what's your take?
Yeah, I didn't think about it. It does kind of make it better knowing where they go from there.
Note to self:
we didn't
rewatch Attached.
Yeah, I'm gonna rewatch Attached too because I haven't watched it since season 3, since Picard season 3. Wow, it does give a whole new spin on it.
I love it.
It's so funny that you I think it's a great pick. But also like it's surprising that Picard like makes the kiss better because like what Picard, and I love Picard, and I loved the last season, but what that showed me is that they really like they used to be my OTP, and now I'm like, oh no, they like they're better as friends. Like I just like with the experience that they've had and like having this kid together and all of this, and I'm like, were they right to split up? Like, right. It's kind of like, so I look back at that and I'm like, you're like fanning this flame that really, it's okay if you let that go.
Hey, what's remember old guy here? What's OTP? I'm trying to figure out
like original one true pairing, like
one true pairing. I knew it was one true something.
Yeah,
I was like one true person.
And let I just clarify. I don't mean that they should have gotten together and that's the way it should have been. What I meant by Picard season 3 making it better is that there was some resolution to this.
It was satisfying at some level, regardless.
We know the kiss wasn't the end of
exactly,
it.
Exactly. And just Patrick Stewart's acting in that scene after she leaves and he blows the candle out and he thinks about what could have been.
And then that they do go on to try.
Yes, that's what I mean by Picard season 3 making it better.
Right. Yeah.
Good stuff. Okay. Teresa, what's your number 3 pick?
My number 3 pick, 5 words and a hashtag, best hostile meet cute ever. And I'm counting meet cute as one word with a hyphen. Hashtag, and I tried to do couple names for my hashtag, but this one, there's not a good one.
Oh, that's right. You have been doing it.
Hashtag Kodo. So Deep Space Nine, season 6, episode 20, His Way. Odo and Nerys.
Yes.
Well, then I should just kiss you now.
Oh my God. So good.
Trying to get advice on how to finally, at long last, and then it happens in this way. Talk about relatable. Like Odo is so relatable in his like, I don't know how to do this. Meh. I'm like, he has a really, kind of neurodivergent nerd who like, I don't ever acknowledge or know when people like me, so you have to like hit me in the face with a brick to like let me know you're flirting. Like the fact that like it came to this but then watching them melt into it and that they keep going and everybody's watching and they're just like, we've been waiting for this forever. So like the lead up to it, when it happens, it's so pure and so needed and so inevitable. And Deep Space Nine was great with romances, I have to say. I think it's my favorite Trek series, and it did so well by like showing the different permutations of love and like the nuance of it, like that it's not just flowery romance, but it's so much deeper than that. And this kiss is like kind of emblematic of that for me.
Odo, wait.
Major, if you don't mind, I'd like to forget all about last night.
I don't think that's a good idea. We need to talk about what happened.
Very well, then we can meet in my office in an hour.
Well, let's discuss it over dinner.
Dinner?
Yeah, you can choose the restaurant, anywhere but a holosuite.
What about Shakar? Do you think he'll approve?
Look, I don't care whether he approves or not. Shakar and I are friends. That's all, friends. The First Minister asked me to update him on the war with the Dominion. My visit was strictly business. Now, are we going to have dinner together or not?
And if we do, then what?
I don't know. Maybe we could go dancing.
And after that, I suppose you'll expect me to kiss you.
Well, it's possible.
But then who needs dinner? Why don't I just get it over with and kiss you right now?
Well, why don't you?
The whole episode is just so well done for a setup for something that had been kind of building for a couple of years.
You're right. Who needs dinner?
'Cause I've got you under my skin.
Yeah, I mean, I love that moment. And you talk about, comparing it to someone who's neurodivergent. That's really good comparison for Odo. But I also like how, Kira ends up being the perfect fit for him, because when you think about her history, it's not like she's had the greatest luck or run with, experience with relationships either. I mean, she's had a priest and someone who knew her when she was 13, which I always found kind of creepy.
Bareil was pretty hot in bed.
Yeah,
though.
no, I'm not.
Remember those scenes with her?
I'm not disputing that.
And
Like
him in
I
her
said,
quarters. She looked pretty happy.
Bareil, I understood. Shakar always felt a little creepy.
Stop it, Matt.
I don't want to date someone I knew when they were 10.
I love Shakar. Stop
He belongs in that candle. But anyway, so they end up being this perfect fit for each other. And I mean, I was considering putting this on my list because it's, I was watching the clip today and it was just like, I know someone's going to bring this up. So thank you, Teresa.
Yeah.
But, but I just love the frankness of it. It's just like, why are we doing this song and dance? Let's cut the bullshit and just kiss.
Good stuff. Okay, let's close out round 3 with mine. I really thought this one would end up not making my list because I'm trying to avoid any recency bias, but I'm doing it again. So here we go. It's number 3, my soup round pick, but maybe it should be my hot dog round pick. Here we go. 5 words and a hashtag. One temporal moment in time. Hashtag for one perfect kiss. This is La'an and Kirk in Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. Incredible moment. Just an unbelievably successful scene. So the kiss occurs at the end of their hours long walk through Toronto. They're trying to find the location of the bomb that's going to destroy the city. And it has just a little bit of everything in the script and this back and forth. It's just absolutely beautiful. It's super easy between these two, and it's an alternate Kirk, obviously. And they're joking about him wanting to be in charge and the hot dogs and Nathaniel Hawthorne. And then La'an talks about maybe trying to get him to come back to her time, which they both kind of know is a non-starter. And then she reveals that this is such a great moment. She reveals that this kind of relationship for her is not easy, like connecting with people. And it's just so well written, so beautiful. And then when they get to the moment of the kiss, you get this perfectly framed silhouette of the two characters. They have a short kiss, then a long beat, and then a really long, passionate kiss. And they're looking at each other, and they both know that it's the only one they're ever going to have. I mean, it's just clear as day on the screen.
I've been carrying something around for a long time, something in my heritage.
You come from a long line of axe murderers?
Oh, no, we never use axes. Truth is, maybe I'm letting that go now. And maybe it helps that you've never even heard of the Scarlet Letter I've worn my whole life. Scarlet Letter? It's a novel by Hawthorne. It's about a woman who's marked, like the mark of Cain. You've never even...
Yes. I know Hawthorne and the Old Testament. I'm just messing with you.
You ass.
A lot of people have riffed that this episode's a modern day City on the Edge of Forever, and for me, those people are wise because that's exactly what this episode is. It's a masterpiece. I love it. And it's only gotten better in the year since it's been released. Just gets better and better every time. Jen, what's your take on Kirk?
Oh my God, I love this pick so much. Their chemistry is just off the charts. Yeah. It's insane. I mean, you can feel it.
Hey.
Yes?
You broke your promise.
Like, for her to be this vulnerable, like this, like you said, this is hard for her, and she says how that's hard for her, but it's hard for her even to talk about it, let alone then give in to her feelings and share this kiss. And an underrated part of it is how tender and gentle Kirk is with her, because how Kirk just understands women. I hate to be like a Captain Kirk girl right now, but he really does just understand women in this way, and it's just, you could see like he knows exactly what she needs, and their kiss is exactly what the way she needs it to be, and it's gorgeous. It's just beautiful moment. I love it so much. What a great thing.
It's incredible. Teresa, what's your take?
I loved this. And I wasn't sure when they were advertising this episode or this, this season, and you see like La'an and Kirk, and I was like skeptical, I'm like, wait, what? And then watching it, I was like, this is so beautiful.
Yeah.
And it is, you're right, the chemistry, everything is there. The fact that it's La'an specifically, that she is this like kind of hardened person who is being vulnerable with this guy. And I agree that, Kirk always, for some reason, there's still this like stank on him that he's like this womanizer or whatever, or like people still talk about him as if, and I'm like, you don't understand. When he actually has real feelings for a woman, he is a different person. Like that is he is respectful. He is, he actually appreciates who they are as a human. And that's been the case since, TOS. And granted, that's including all of the sexism and other manners of expression because it was the 60s. But like whenever it's been about him and a love feeling for a woman that was genuine and not part of some like, using my masculine wiles to like take, to pull off a plan or whatever.
Right.
It's so great between them. I'm so glad you picked this too. This was almost on my list as well.
So I have another hot take that I think a lot of people wouldn't be ready for, but I love City on the Edge of Forever. I think it's a great episode. I think it still holds up. It's very well done. I love Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow More.
Yeah, it's a special episode.
And I say that because they did a good job in the 60s of, trying to flesh out this romance between Kirk and Edith Keeler. They developed Joan Collins really well. But it hits harder in Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow because they're two characters that we know. So that when the loss comes, it's much more poignant and you feel it more. And I already liked Paul Wesley as Kirk from when we saw him a little bit at the end of season 1, but this was the episode that like really sold me on him. It's like, okay, yeah, he's Kirk. I can live with this choice.
Amazing. All right, round 2. Here we go. Jen, what's your number 2 pick?
A Kiss So Good That # we have to say goodbye. This is Deep Space Nine, season 4, episode 21, The Muse. And this is Odo and Waxana Troy.
Oh my God.
Wow.
And now let me tell you like how special this moment is. I know this episode gets a bad rap because the other story in it is so ridiculous and not good. Let's ignore all the Jake stuff. All right. And just focus on the beautiful plot between Waxana and Odo, which is one of my favorite friendships in all of Star Trek. Their friendship is so genuine and tender and sweet. And this, okay, so what's happening here is Waxana finds herself pregnant. That her husband is threatening to take the baby away. The husband is Tavnian, is the alien, and Odo finds in Tavnian law that if she marries someone else, then he can't take the baby. It's Odo's suggestion, not hers, that he marry her, to save her baby from this man. And they have, but apparently at the wedding, he has to convince everybody present that he really loves her, and including the husband, So, but he gives this beautiful speech about her, and it's all true. Like he says everything that's true, but about her friendship, about how her friendship has encouraged him to be himself and to be proud of who he is. And it really brought him out of his shell and changed him. And he says these beautiful words, and she's visibly touched by it, and you're waiting for the kiss because it's a wedding. And it's like, oh, this is going to be a wonderful, tender kiss. And then they don't kiss, So I guess Tavnian weddings don't have kisses at the end. So you feel a little, a little cheated out of the kiss. Right. But then they change it. They they turn it on his head, in the next scene, she says, I'm going back to Beta Z to have the baby. And they have this lovely conversation, but she gives a little speech to Odo about what he means to her and about, Odo wants her to stay. And she's like, I can't stay, because I still am in love with you. And I know you love me, but not in that way. And I know you just, you like to take care of me, and we're friends, and I can't ruin that. Like, I can't ruin my friendship with you, so we have to leave. So I have to leave. And the kiss, oh, what a payoff, because it's so sweet. She delicately lifts up his chin and gently kisses him, and Odo closes his eyes. Like, it's just this beautiful moment where they both feel this kiss, and she says goodbye, husband, and he says goodbye, wife, and it's just a lovely moment of friendship, between these two souls who feel like outsiders. It's just such a lovely moment, this part of Muse.
But believe it or not, people, this is not the first time the Muse has been chosen.
Was it me?
Somebody picked it for a Guilty Pleasure episode, which was on Deep Space Nine.
Interesting.
I will say the thing for me that's so impactful on this, because I love this pick, is that this is the last time we see Lwaxana.
Yeah.
This is her last appearance. This is Majel Roddenberry's last appearance as Lwaxana. So what a great thing to go out on, this incredible moment and kiss with Odo. And they really built that up well across, I think about 3 episodes she was in for Deep Space.
Yeah.
So they really hit a home run with that in all 3 episodes, just their connection. I love it, Matt.
Well, I'm just full of hot takes today because as much as I love Lwaxana.
We don't do hot takes on TrekRanks. What show do you think this is, Matt? Keep going. Oh, here we go.
As much as I love Lwaxana on TNG, where she was like this ebullient character that would come in and lighten things up, I think she was much better on her 3 episodes of Deep Space Nine, especially that first episode, the Forsaken. Watching where that relationship with Odo went. I mean, she was the first person that he kind of opened up to and let him see vulnerable.
That's true, yeah.
Just watching that relationship grow over 3 episodes to culminate in this is just, I think it's fantastic. And it's why I like Lwaxana much better on DS9, even though she doesn't have a related character on this, and she wasn't created for this show. I just think she's much better on it.
Matt, this is TrekRanks. She's great on both.
She's great on both shows. I just said she's great on both shows.
Talking. Teresa, what's your take?
No, I'm so glad that you picked this, because I love Lwaxana Troi in all her permutations. But yeah, again, it's like one of the great things about a long-running franchise is that you get to see characters grow. And we've been blessed with getting to see certain characters grow and change over time, over series, over whatever. And oh my God, I remember being really surprised that Lwaxana showed up, and then very surprised by how poignant her interaction with Odo was. I was like, wow, they're doing this, huh? And they did, and it was beautiful. So I'm so glad you picked this.
Love it. So good. Okay, Matt, what's your number 2 pick?
So my number 2 pick, I have a feeling, is the reason that Jim wanted me on this episode, because I think that representation is important, and this was a big moment for me. My 5 words and a hashtag, just this one last jump, hashtag Caecilian opera date. It's not the first time that Stamets and Culber kiss, but I'm specifically referring to the kiss that they share just before they accidentally jump into the mirror universe and into the forest I go.
There is a moon near Starbase 46, and I understand they have the most esteemed Caecilian opera house, where they are currently performing La Boheme. I could be your date.
Are you saying you'll actually sit through that with me?
Just this jump. And then I'm going to have a lot of free time on my hands.
As a longtime fan of Star Trek and as a member of the LGBTQ community, it was finally nice to see a healthy, fulfilling gay relationship on Star Trek. It was a long time coming, and we were blessed 51 years into the run. So I had to include it on here.
I forgot about that moment. Yeah, they talk. Oh yeah, the Caecilian opera. Oh my God, that is such a great pick, man. I was thinking in terms of the first kiss, which was it in Choose Your Pain, or
it's
something?
in Choose Your
Yeah,
Pain,
Choose Your
which,
Pain,
like
yeah.
I said, it's not the first kiss, but this is the one that's more
It's so
poignant
impactful
to me. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so well done. It's so powerful. I mean, it's an incredible episode and an incredible ending to that episode. Jen, what's your take?
I think this is such a wonderful pick. I love them as a couple. I think they're wonderful together. I love that the Castilian opera is a callback.
Yeah.
He mentioned Stamets mentions it's how they met.
Yeah.
I love that. I think it's beautiful. My favorite moment of them is when they were brushing their teeth. I don't know if they kiss when they're brushing their teeth.
That's the Choose Your Pain. That's the
Choose Your Pain. Yeah.
That's Choose Your Pain.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah. But any moment with them is just so wonderful. It was a great pick.
I mean, Anthony Rapp and Wilson Cruz, so awesome that they're even a part of this franchise in such an impactful way over the last, I guess, 7 years. Teresa, what's your take?
I mean, I have no specific take except that I love those two. I love their whole journey. I'm so happy that they're one of my favorite parts of Discovery.
Yeah.
And Adina and
Adira, yep.
What I say? Yes, sorry, Adira.
Yep.
Like, what am I saying? I have a cousin, Adina. And Gray. Like, I love that they're like a little queer family. And yeah, anyway, no hot take, just I love them.
I never saw that coming, right? I thought there was different things they're going to do, then all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, okay, this is real representation in terms of showing this family unit. It's so awesome. Okay, great pick, Matt. Round 2, Teresa. What do you got?
I have 5 words in a hashtag. Repression never looked so hot. Hashtag, and again, this is a terrible couple name, but it was just hashtag spring because I wasn't.
Spring's pretty good.
I wasn't gonna do Tupac.
Yeah, okay.
Strange New World, season 1, episode 5, Spock Amok. We see T'Pring and Spock. She's coming to visit him. They kiss, and despite the fact that she's coming in all Vulcan, he's being all Vulcan around her. When they kiss, it is so hot. Like
it is.
Like
yeah.
You know that they are people that have sex. Like they, like there is nothing chaste or like anything about that kiss. And then you like, I remember people being like weirdly upset when like you see them sleeping together, and it's like, what did you think Vulcans like? What are you doing? But I love that we see that in that moment, and that you see that there's genuine love and attraction and what have you in that kiss, followed by her criticizing his quarters and how it's decorated. And she says, you know, like, this looks like a very human room. The room that they gave us is very human looking. You could hardly tell that a Vulcan lives here. And he's like, actually, these are my quarters, and I'm redecorating. It's a work in progress. And she says, I'll withhold judgment.
Yeah.
Until your decorations are completed. And then I'm like, then she's gonna judge the hell out of this. But I even wrote an article for the Mary Sue about this, like justice for T'Pring. Like we were talking about Chapel earlier and how like, you know, Nurse Chapel kind of is showing us things that we don't see from her later, later in her timeline on TOS. T'Pring, you know, she only gets that one episode, and seeing how there was genuine love for Spock, and seeing that like there's a reason she became that person who's like challenging Kirk to like to be her champion and on all of this, and like watching their relationship. And you know, obviously we're all rooting for him in Chapel, but like Spock and T'Pring were real.
Yeah.
That kiss really showed that. Like it wasn't that, you know, yes, it was arranged, like they'd been promised to each other for whatever, but their feelings for each other were very real. And I loved that we kind of got an explanation for T'Pring's character, and we got like kind of her relationship with Spock kind of independent of him and Chapel.
I'm so glad you picked this. Justice for T'Pring is absolute truth. I mean, she deserves. I would be just as happy to see them end up together as Spock and Chapel, knowing that he doesn't end up with either of them. This kiss is so hot. You're so right.
They are so good together. Like that. Talk about chemistry.
Chemistry.
Like,
it's incredible.
And it's made all the more hot. And this just says a lot about me. But like because they're Vulcan, like the simmering that is happening, like
Yes,
the rest
right,
of the time they're around each other. I love that kind of thing.
Yeah. Jen, what's your take?
I have a lot of thoughts about T'Pring because I love her so much. I loved her in Amok Time. I when I was younger, I thought of her as sort of like a feminist Vulcan hero.
Right.
You know, she's trapped in this horrible system, you know, and she works within the system that she has to get the life that she wants and the man that she wants. And I love that for her. And she's awesome. And I love her in Strange New Worlds too. And I love getting to learn more about her. I love learning about her family, how like she has this overbearing mother and her own issues. And you know, she's got this wonderful career. She's amazing. I love her, and I love her and Spock together. And you're right, they do have something real there. This isn't just an arranged thing, and they are so hot. I mean, part of it is that both of them are just like gorgeous people, like, but together
ridiculously attractive. I can't handle it.
Ridiculously attractive. Like that first scene in the first episode of Stranger Worlds when they're in bed, it's like, where did they find these people?
I think it's amazing that they got someone to play T'Pring who looks like Arlene Martin.
Yeah, they did a really good job with casting in that respect too. She's gorgeous. Gia Sandhu is just, and she's a very thoughtful actress. She's gorgeous, and I love T'Pring with Spock and without Spock, and that's such a great pick. So hot.
I love it. Thanks, Teresa. Let's go to my round 2 pick. Oh, I love this one. 5 words in a hashtag. I don't want you here. Hashtag you need me here. It is TNG season 3, episode 18, Yesterday's Enterprise, and it is Richard Castillo and Tasha Yar.
Holler.
This relationship is one of the main reasons this episode works so well. I love these two together. Beyond all the cool temporal sci-fi machinations, the death of Rachel Garrett, the Picard and Guinan stuff, if the relationship between Castillo and Yar doesn't work, the episode loses a lot of the weight and the agency of Yar's decision to go back. And their dynamic is so great. And when the kiss occurs, I am all in. It takes place in the transporter room as they're saying goodbye forever, right? Yar's at that point, she's been trying to like school him up because Captain Garrett's died at that point and he has to take command. And so she's really just trying to school him up. So they kiss as they're leaving. And then she goes back later and convinces Picard that she needs to join them to help him out because she knows that she's going to die a meaningless death in this timeline. And when she walks on the bridge, he just says, I don't want you here. She's like, you need me here. Show me someone else that can do the job better. Welcome aboard. Take your station, Lieutenant. This is after their passionate kiss in the transporter room. I love these two together. Christopher McDonald and Denise Crosby. Jen, what's your take?
I love them so much. This is on my secondary system. This is one of my toughest cuts. You're waiting for this kiss for so long with these two, you know, because they say goodbye like 20 times. You know? Because they have that beautiful scene, you know, he's like, oh, if you see an old man, you know, look at you from across the room, blah, blah, blah. And you think it's going to happen. You think it's going to happen. And then they get attacked by, you know, they get attacked and the captain dies and they get derailed. You know what I mean? They were having such a moment, you know, and then finally it happens in the transporter room and it's like, man, you know, that kiss is so good that you know, she's like, I'm doing this. And they're just, they're so great. They're so great. One of the best one-off couples.
So good.
All time.
Yeah, no, it's just fantastic.
I mean, I love it too. I love that episode. And you're right. It would not work without this at all. And I was just talking to my wife earlier today, in fact, about like, she asked me randomly, we were talking about time travel stuff. We were watching Doctor Who. And she was like, what's your favorite like time travel story? And we were talking about that. And I realized that what I love about like time travel or any kind of temporal, you know, time shenanigans is when it's used to illuminate the relationship between people. You know, it's like mechanics aside and, we might affect the future or the past, whatever. Yeah. But like this kiss and this couple, it's like the time travel shenanigans matter because they matter to each other.
1 to beam to the Enterprise C. We keep saying goodbye. don't we?
I wish we had more time.
More time. I think we have all the time we can handle as it is.
This kiss makes her choice so much more impactful, and it's amazing. Yeah.
I also think it kind of shows that, you know, if Denise Crosby had stuck around to get some of that post season 3 writing for Yar, this is what it would have been. And I mean, I like her in the first season, and I like a lot of the first season.
Lieutenant.
I would have liked to see her get the benefit of the post season 3 treatment.
Glad we got this one because it's awesome Tasha Yar stuff. Okay, round 1.
Begin round 1.
Here we go. Jen, what's your number 1 kiss?
Oh, my number 1 kiss. Okay. A kiss so good that #it feels like the first time. So this is Voyager season 4, episode 22, Unforgettable.
Oh, wow.
Hear me out.
Boy.
Yes.
Hear me out.
You've already convinced me.
This better be good.
She loves this episode. She's convinced me.
I love this episode. So this is Chakotay.
By the way, you had me at Virginia
Kelly.
Madsen.
Virginia Madsen. Gorgeous. Beautiful, great actress. They have chemistry. Sorry, but they do. I also hate that Chakotay's in my number 1. He's in my list at all. I hate that. Trust me. But this kiss is worthy, and hear me out. Okay. So, all right. The sci-fi conceit in this one is that she's from a planet where, for pheromone reasons or whatever, other species forget about them, in a few days or whatever after they meet. So they like live on their planet, whatever, by themselves, and they're very secretive. And her job is someone who like tries to catch people who try to leave their planet, whatever. That's her job. So, but anyway, so she comes on a Voyager and she tells everybody, I've been here before, and I'd like to request asylum. So she's requesting asylum, and they're like, you weren't here before, we don't remember you. But she convinces them that this is what happened. She was here for a few weeks tracking a criminal that she was tracking down, blah, 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 whatever. And she tells Chakotay, she's like, well, while we were here, we fell in love, right? And he doesn't believe her at first. And she manages to convince him that they fell in love. You see their relationship in flashbacks, and what it is it's like her telling the stories to him about their time together, and you see it in the flashbacks. You see their little meet cute, they pull guns on each other, and they have a little they work on the case together, and you see them growing their relationship, and it's her telling him about them falling in love, and eventually he falls in love with her again. She manages to get him to fall in love with her again. And she's like, I want to request asylum, but if you don't feel for me the way I feel for you, I'll go back. And he says, don't go. Right. So here's the kiss. Here's the setup. Right. She's been teasing this whole time about the story of their last night together. So he's been waiting for the story, and she's, and he says, finally, tell me about our last night together. And it's so cute. They set it up, and she's saying, you were sitting here, she takes his hand, she guides him to the chair, and she's like, and I was over here, and we were drinking something with bubbles. And he's like, oh, champagne. She's like, yeah, that's it. And and then she goes, and then I moved in closer, and she caresses his shoulder, and she says, and then I did this, she sits on his lap, and she gets, she narrates her movements as she recreates the memory of their first kiss, which is just sexy as hell, especially when Virginia Madsen's doing it, And she says, and then I wanted to thank you for helping me, and I wanted something to remember you by. And then I did this, and then she kisses him. They do this isn't a good double kiss, like you were saying, Jim, about Kirk and La'an with the double kiss, so they do a little kiss, and then they look each other in the eyes, and then they, kiss more deeply. And it's so hot, just recreating their first kiss like that. And, and she said, and then they're like, and then what happened, and she's like, well, then I had to go, and he says, well, this time you don't, fade to black. And it's just so sexy and so passionate, and just It's and just such a unique situation too. You know what I mean? Like this isn't something that's ever gonna happen, you know, in the real world. But I just love it. And even with Chakotay, it's hot, like they have chemistry. And then in case you don't remember the episode, what happens is she gets hit by the weapon that causes her to lose her memory, and he can't get her to fall in love with him again because he's Chakotay. But I want to add one more thing before I'm done.
Because he's
But one more thing, it also has the loveliest ending of him sitting in the mess hall with a pen and paper, writing down everything he can remember about her before his memory of her fades and their love together. So it's beautiful, and you guys should watch it. And it's a hell of a kiss.
I feel like I just read one of Odo's romance novels. Wow, that was unbelievable. All right, there's the Vulcan Gong, first ever selection of Unforgettable on TrekRanks. Teresa, we're going to you first because we know Matt's just gonna.
No, I have nice things to say.
Be a sour. Okay. Okay, go Matt. What do you got?
I was gonna say, well, first of all, I make fun of Jen, but I can't falter too much because my number one pick that we're going to get to in a moment comes from an episode that a lot of people don't like either. So, you know, we stand up for our guilty pleasures. And you know what? Chakotay may not be my favorite character. I don't think that the chemistry is as much there as you think it is, Jen, but I mean, different tastes, but I will never fight you on Virginia Madsen between, Candyman and Sideways. I love her.
Yeah.
Teresa.
No, I was just gonna say, I think my favorite part of that kiss is listening to Jen describe that kiss.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah, I want to see that episode.
Right? I was like, the way you described it is not how I remember.
Watch it again. I'm telling you, watch it.
So good. So good. All right. Bottom line, Virginia Madsen. Okay.
Oh, she's amazing.
She's incredible. Matt, what is your number one pick?
So we're here at the other end of my sandwich protocol. So it's another whimsical one, but again, one of the first ones I thought of. And the thing that I like about this pick is that we've talked about these great, passionate, wonderful, poignant kisses that just, chemistry is off the charts and it means something and it's just grandiose. Whereas my number one pick is just kind of like that raw, animalistic, just make out session that I love. I've been on a few dates and love having. So my 5 words in a hashtag: tell him I'll be there shortly. Hashtag get it, girl. Kira and Bashir's very hot make out sesh from Fascination.
Wow.
Oh man, yeah.
Again, I know it's virus induced. I know it's not an episode everyone likes. I happen to love it. But I mean, the thing that I just love about it is like I said, I kiss and romance is nice. And I've been on, I've had relationships where it's like that, but I also value moments in relationships like this too, where it's just like, you just, go for it and you can't keep your hands off of each other. And it also helps that, those two had chemistry because I think by that time they were dating. And, I mean, who wouldn't want to make out with young Alexander Siddig? So
word.
Unforgettable and Fascination back-to-back picks at the number one spot. This is not the first. Fascination was picked once before by the same person that picked The Muse for their DS9 guilty pleasures. Ellie, incredible.
That's so funny.
Incredible. Teresa, what's your take on Fascination and this virus-induced makeout session between these two?
No, and based on my criteria, it wasn't going to make my list, but I agree. Like, I feel like a lot of my picks have been like weirdly chaste. Like the hottest one was the Spock into Praying. Like all the other ones are like meaningful or awkward. I don't know what that says about me, but this kiss also, I would get into that, Kira Bashir sandwich. Like like that is not a problem for me. I'm here for that.
And shout out to Luoxana again for causing it. Jen, any quick take?
Yeah. Well, I mean, first of all, the off-screen chemistry really showed through with that pairing. But I forget who says it, but maybe it was Luoxana who says that it couldn't have happened if there wasn't some kind of latent attraction between the two, which I think was a fun little touch that maybe Karen and Bashir, have a little chemistry even without a virus inducing it. But the best part is when Bashir's like giving everyone the antidote for the virus, and he's like, well, we're gonna go see Kara. I'm going to her quarters. And Cisco's like, delay that visit by a day or two. And he's like, yeah, okay.
What an episode. All right, Teresa, I'm looking at your list.
And one note about fascination. Odo and Loxana kiss in that one, but he does not close his eyes. He closes his eyes in the mutants.
Oh, they kiss in that one too.
Character progression.
Yeah.
I love it. Progression. All right, Teresa, I'm looking at your list. It's not that chaste, but you still got one more spot. So
I do. Well, this one, it's funny. So I'll just get to it.
Let's do it.
Number one pick, 5 words in a hashtag. I would have gone back to hashtag Dorf. I can't do couple names a lot of the times, but Deep Space Nine, season 6, episode 16, Change of Heart.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
And this is at the end, after Worf saves her, he's reprimanded by Sisko, but then Sisko is like, dude, I understand. Like, I would have done the same thing. And then just talking to his wife and like, I don't know if it's, what the place I am in my life, I don't know, whatever, but like seeing married couples means a lot to me now. So watching Worf and Dax have this moment where he's looking at her and he's like, yeah, I will always choose you first. Like, I will always, like, no matter what. And then he just kisses her on the forehead. Like, it's not even a lip kiss, but it's a kiss full of so much feeling and love. Like, this is the woman I want with me forever. And it's amazing and beautiful. And especially after, he's like, say you would do the same thing for me. And she's like, well, I have to think about that, like my career is very important to me. And, and then he's like, and you could say that I love you. And she, of course, does. And it's like, these two are like one of the most meant to be together couples on Star Trek, I think. And it's such a beautiful moment.
I'm sorry. I should have kept going.
You have nothing to be sorry about.
I know how much your career means to you.
You come first. Before career, before duty, before anything. I do not regret what I did. And I would do it again.
I don't know what to say.
You could say, thank you for saving my life.
Thank you for saving my life.
And you could say, I would do the same for you, Worf.
Well, I'd have to think about that. My career is very important to me,
And you could say, I love you.
I love you.
And I love you.
This is such a great pick, Teresa. It's that whole moment is so well done. I mean, Michael Dorn's at his best in that scene in his acting, and so is Terry Farrell. And the kiss is so perfect. I love this pick. Jen?
Yeah, there's nothing else to say. You said it all. You guys said it all. It's perfect. It's just so lovely. And of course, like, he doesn't regret anything. Of course he's gonna go back for her, and of course he loves her. And it is cute how she does have to rib him a little bit, about her career being important to her. Like, of course she would go back for him too. She's full of it.
That's her.
But
that's
her, and that's them. That's their dynamic. And the kiss it's beautiful that it's such a chaste kiss, a tender kiss. It's a tender kiss.
So many of my picks, I realize, have like a little note of hostility in them too. Like, there's either one of them makes fun of the other one, or one of them, gives them a snarky comment, but like, it's from
playfully.
Yeah.
Playfully, yeah.
And I'm not sure there's a moment in all of Star Trek where Worf's ever happier than in that moment.
I mean, you're right, Teresa, in that it's a chaste kiss, but I mean, it is in the same episode, I believe, where at the beginning, Dax throws her clothes at Worf and wraps herself in a blanket and says, I don't feel like talking anymore.
Yes.
I mean, that's some good stuff.
I mean, honestly, when I was thinking, because I knew I had to have Worf and Dax on this list, is like, which one? But the best moment between them is not even a kiss at all. It's them like coming injured to sickbay after having spent time on the holodeck. And then it's like, oh, we have to get married now. Like,
Right.
Oh yeah.
Very different.
When they're like, like hobbling to the bed. It's like, they did some wild shenanigans. And
I just love that scene where it's just like Bashir's like, you know what? I'm just going to stop asking questions about what happened to everyone and I'm just going to treat them and let them go.
All right, let's close it out with my number one pick. Yep, this was number one on my list since this topic popped into my head years ago. I love it. I find this moment in the kiss to be really hypnotic and iconic. Easily my number one. 5 words and a hashtag. Measuring trust with a kiss, hashtag. That's never happened before. And this is from Enterprise Season 1, Broken Bow, and Saren kisses Archer. And she's the Suliban. And it's crazy how often Broken Bow gets picked on, mostly by me, I think. So for me, this kiss, if you remember, this is the end of really the first half of Broken Bow. And it's totally iconic in how much it accomplishes. So first, it's got this amazing homage to like TOS and Kirk, kind of that ladies' man reputation and kissing a different alien every week. And right off the bat here, an hour into Enterprise, Archer, Scott Bakula, has a kiss kind of showing up out of nowhere in the middle of the action. It totally works. And then second, it really sells the Suliban instantaneously as great foils and interesting new species for the show. Super clever way to introduce them. And then third, it's super hot. I'm sorry. Scott Bakula's obviously an actor with a lot of chops, and Melinda Clarke plays Saren, and they're kind of going back and forth trying to feel each other out, and then she's just kind of moving in closer and closer. And I think this kiss is amazing. Even when she turns into the Suliban, it's still hot.
My name is Saren. Tell me about the people who took Klang off your ship.
I was hoping you could tell me. They looked a lot like your friends outside.
Where were you taking him?
Why don't you look like your friends?
Would you prefer I did?
What I'd prefer is you give me Klang back.
So you could take him where?
Home. We were just taking him home. You better be careful. I'm a lot bigger than you are.
If you're thinking of harming me, I'd advise against it.
What are you doing?
Why were you taking Klang home?
You know, under different circumstances, I might be flattered by this, but that's never happened before.
I've been given the ability to measure trust, but it requires close contact.
You're Suliban.
I was a member of the Cabal, but not any longer. The price of evolution was too high.
So I love this moment. And Melinda Clarke was she's been in a ton of shows. She was in Firefly as Nandi, who was a friend of Inara. I love her. Love that kind of the whole point of it is that she has to get close to him to realize if she can trust him or not and give him a kiss. Great TOS homage. Jen, what's your take on this one?
Oh, super hot. Yeah. especially when she turns into the Suliban.
Especially when she turns. It's still hot when she turns into the Suliban.
It's even hotter.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's so good. Great pick. I mean, Scott Bakula.
It works for me, Matt.
So good. Yeah, it's a good way to introduce the show too. Because you're right, it's a good callback to TOS.
You know, this is another one where it's like I remember the kiss and I don't remember it because it kind of happens rather quickly because they're on the run at that point in the episode. Yeah. But I'm gonna go back and watch it.
Go back and rewatch it. It's a kiss in the middle of the action. All of a sudden, there's this passionate kiss, and I remember it just feels like Kirk and TOS.
But I don't know. There could be something hot about like making out with someone and having them shapeshift in between. You know, so
that's why he says that's never happened before, Teresa.
I mean, that's Odo's whole appeal.
I know, right?
Yeah, there you go.
The fan fiction.
We are tracking shapeshifter kisses. So. All right. Let's go to our secondary systems.
Let's see what you can do with the secondary system.
Okay, Matt, let's start with you. Rattle off a few.
Well, the nice thing that we can do is go quickly for me because my three were said. I had Kira and Odo's first in his way. I had Spock and Chapel in the Serene Squall, and I had Riker and Troy the Yuck scene from Star Trek Insurrection.
Oh, I love it. You had Serene Squall. Fantastic. Okay. Teresa, how about you?
Yeah, I only had I had one, and then when you mentioned Dax and Lenara, I was like, that would have been, secondary systems for me as well. But I just need to shout this out, and it's also a guilty pleasure, and I don't care who knows it. Crusher and the Ghost.
Oh yeah.
Listen,
Okay.
I am here for that fan fiction episode so hard, and like, I don't care what anybody says. I thought it was great. I think it's like if you take like some weird 12-year-old girl's diary and shake it out, it's like, I made out with a ghost today. I love it. And yeah, that's my secondary.
I love it. Another Shakar shout out. Okay.
Yeah.
Jen, what do you got?
He's hotter as the ghost than he is as Shakar.
He's hot as both.
Sorry.
He's hot as both.
All right, I got a bunch. I'll just try to just rattle them off quick. Okay, so Burnham and Ash Tyler's first kiss and Magic to Make the Sanus Mango Mad. Amazing.
Perfect.
Counterpoint with Janeway and Kashyyyk because they're both like
playing each other,
manipulating each other, but they also both really want to kiss each other.
That's a good one.
So
that's a good
that
one.
moment is
because the kiss is real. Yeah,
kiss is real for both of them. It's so hot. Staying with Voyager, the scientific method scan kiss creeps me out every time because I forget the cold open.
Yeah, the big
Paris and Torres are having a little love that.
That's a good one. That's a really
good one. That's such a creepy episode
the Jeffries
in general.
tube and kissing and then all of a sudden it just the scan pops up and you're like, what the fuck is happening? Like, what is that? And then they just go on with the episode like nothing happened until you find out. So good. So well done. Okay. Mira Hoshi and Mira Travis kissing each other over Mira Archer's dying body. So he knows who killed him and why.
Wow, that's dark. That's
dark.
Well done,
but
Jen.
It's a hell of a kiss. I have Raffi kissing Hollow, one of the Hollow Rioses.
Oh, that's cute. Yes.
And he puts his hands on his cheeks.
Yeah.
It's so cute. I love it so much. What a little puppy. I also have in the same vein, I have in Caretaker Janeway talking to Mark and kissing him through the computer.
Yeah, she taps the screen. So good.
Oh, like that's their last goodbye.
Yeah.
I have another poignant one is Cisco with the wormhole Jennifer. Like she sees them kiss and then she like kisses like her hand see like what is that, like what do you do,
those would make good if we did abstract kisses.
Yes, that would be good abstract kisses. Grilka and Quark in House of Quark because it's adorable.
So good. Yeah.
Because she
the divorce kiss.
They divorce. The divorce. It's not the divorce slap, and then she kisses him.
I didn't know if you were going to say that or the wedding kiss where she just spits afterwards.
Spits out.
Oh my god, so funny. Yeah, I just that's pretty hot. I have more, but I'll stop.
Okay. Three more, Jen. Three more.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'll give our man Bashir because there's the kiss the girl, get the key, but also even better is when he kisses what's her name?
Anastasia Komanov.
Anastasia Komanov, because to get her earring, her explosive earring, and throw it like it's a
oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, like that's really funny to me. We didn't talk about Vash and Picard.
That's on my list.
I'll let Jim talk about that.
That's okay. That's coming up.
And then I really think we should talk about Ben and Jake Sisko and how they show affection for each other. He kisses, I think the very first time we see him, he kisses Jake, on the forehead. But even when he's like older, when they're two grown men, they still like show affection, with a hug and a kiss on the cheek.
Yeah.
and it's beautiful to normalize that, because it should be normalized, and it's just a lovely way that they show affection
And
for each other.
that kiss that Cisco gives Jake when old Jake is dying in the Visitor is just
yes.
Oh my God, the
Yes.
Visitor.
Oh my God.
Good stuff.
So
Lots of
good.
ways to look at this one. Okay, I've got my toughest cut, Picard and Bosch, but not in the cave. Mine was the first kiss when she just runs into him in the lobby of the hotel, and he's like, "I like to be to know the women I kiss," but that kiss is hot when she's like just trying to avoid Rom.
She's
from
gorgeous
finding
too.
her.
Jennifer Patrick.
And
she's so gorgeous,
incredible. I also had Dax and Lenara Khan. One that we haven't mentioned yet that I was close to making my list was Data and the Borg Queen, of course, from First Contact. Iconic.
That shouldn't be hot, but
it's kinky. It's kinky is what it is.
It's kinky.
And a pick I really wanted to make, and it's actually a really great kiss. The acting's incredible. Is from Half a Life, Loxana and Timothy. Maisel Roddenberry and David Ogden Stiers, that when they really kiss in the middle of the episode, it is amazing. It's a great moment. Okay, I had Kirk and Edith Keeler, of course, in the stairwell, sitting on the edge of forever. I had Gwen and Dahl, a little very sweet little kiss in Supernova. I had because this one's maybe not the hottest kiss, but Dax is the hottest. Cisco and Dax in Through the Looking Glass, and they did more than
again.
kiss.
Shouldn't be hot, but it is.
Right. Sorry, Matt.
So is.
I have Worf and Troy in Parallels.
In Parallels, I like it. It's good.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And then my special shout out is to the actual first interracial kiss on Star Trek, which is not the one everyone's thinking of. It's Uhura and Chapel in What Are Little Girls Made Of? And I always said, I think this should be a bigger deal. When Chapel's running off the bridge to go find Roger Corby, Uhura gives her a kiss on the cheek as she's running off, and no one ever talks about it. It's crazy to me.
Interesting.
I love that moment. 10 episodes into Star Trek. Yep. Okay, and then one final special shout out to No Small Parts and Brad Boimler, Captain Mommy, giving you sweet little captain kisses. Okay.
No, that is not how.
I just don't understand why it's such a secret. I'd be telling everyone.
Dude, I do not want people knowing my mom is my mom.
Okay, I'm not gonna tell a soul.
I'm being serious. Shut up.
So, does Captain Mommy give you sweet little captain kisses? Mwah.
All right. Incredible topic. Let's get into our regeneration cycle. We're going to recap our picks and go through some stats.
Computer, activate regeneration cycle. Alcoves beta and gamma.
Okay, Jen, recap your top 5.
Okay, my number 5 pick was Mirror Mirror with Kirk and Mirror Marlena. My number 4 pick was Fairhaven with Janeway and Michael Sullivan. Number 3 was Return to Tomorrow with Sargon and Thalassa, with Kirk and Anne Mulhall. My number 2 pick was The Muse, Odo and Loxana. And number 1 was Unforgettable with Chakotay and Kellen.
Fantastic. You had 2 from Voyager, 2 from TOS, and 1 from Deep Space Nine. Matt, how about you?
So my number 5 was Janeway and Q in Q2. My number 4 was Jadzia and Lenara in Rejoined. My number 3 was Crusher and Picard in Attached. My number 2 was Stamets and Culber and Into the Forest I Go. And my number 1 was Kira and Bashir in Fascination.
Amazing. So 2 from Deep Space Nine, 1 each from TNG, Voyager, and Discovery. Teresa, how about you?
My number 5 pick was Troy and Riker in Star Trek Insurrection. Number 4 was Mariner and Jennifer in Lower Decks, Hear All, Trust Nothing. Number 3 was Nerys and Odo in Deep Space Nine, His Way. Number 2 was Spock and T'Pring in Strange New Worlds, Spock Amok. And number 1 was Worf and Dax, Deep Space Nine, Change of Heart.
Spectacular. 2 from Deep Space Nine, and then TNG and Strange New Worlds and Lower Decks. Okay, so my recap was Martia and Kirk in Star Trek VI, The Undiscovered Country. My number 4 was Spock and Chapel in The Serene Squall and Charades from Strange New Worlds. Number 3, also from Strange New Worlds, La'an and the alternate Kirk in Tomorrow. Number 2, from TNG, Yesterday's Enterprise, Castillo and Tasha Yar. And my number 1 was Broken Bow, Archer, and Saren the Suliban from Enterprise. So I had 2 from Strange New Worlds and 1 from TOS, TNG, and Enterprise. Okay, lots of stats here to break down. No duplicates. No duplicates. I am really surprised there was not
Star
a
Trek
single
is a
duplicate.
very kiss-heavy, horny show. Like
It really is.
From.
I just figured with 4 people, there'd be one that just kind of stumbled into a duplicate. It's crazy.
4 different people can find 4 different things that are hot. So, you know.
Exactly.
It's true.
And then, so out of our 20 picks, exactly 10 were labeled hot and steamy. So that seems like a good breakdown.
It's a good mix.
It's not just...
It's not Trek Ranks After Dark.
Yeah, exactly.
Although now I want to start a new podcast.
Okay,
right?
There you go.
Call me. I want to be on it too.
All right. There's a couple of category breakdowns. Actually, they all ended up pretty even. There's 1 holodeck kiss. There was 3 same-sex kisses, which for Trek's track record is pretty good, I think, in terms of the representation here. 3 shapeshifter kisses. And 3 alternate reality kisses. So that's good. And then here I tracked every character. So every character that had more than 1 kiss, we had 2 each for Spock, Janeway, Dax, and Odo got 2 kisses. Amazing. Yes. And of course, leading the way with 4 is James T. Kirk.
As it should be.
As it should be. All right, and then the series breakdown really, really spread around well. We got 8 different incarnations of Trek selected, 1 each for Enterprise, Discovery, and Lower Decks. And then everything else had 3 or more. It's amazing. So 3 each for TOS, TNG, Voyager, and Strange New Worlds. Each had 3. And leading the way with 5 was Deep Space Nine, which I think, Teresa, you said at one point.
Yeah, they did romance real well.
That's the show where you would expect.
Everyone's loving each other on DS9.
Incredible.
They're on
a
space station. They got a lot of people coming through.
Right. Okay, let's initiate a temporal inversion because it's time to hear from you.
Initiate temporal inversion.
Initiating.
And for this week's temporal version, we're going back to episode 172, the top 5 scenes on an alien ship. And we got an awesome list in from our friend Abby Summer over at the First Flight podcast at Abby M. Summer. And okay, I love this list of alien ships. So her number 5 was from the last generation of Picard. Deanna and the D swoop in and save all of Picard. Number 4, Data embarrasses Kivas Fajo from TNG, The Most Toys. Number 3, T'Pol calms Hoshi in Klingon Mess Hall in Enterprise Sleeping Dogs. I love that. Number 2, the Borg credits on Lower Decks, Wedge Douche, fantastic. And number 1 from Prodigy Preludes, Jankum Pog Can Fix It. Super, super fun list. I love this. Okay, once again, those picks, more than enough to clear ourselves from this week's temporal inversion. So as always, I want to thank everyone for all your great responses to the Trek Ranks podcast. Please keep your list coming to me on Twitter at TrekRanks. We can retweet them, but we also want to hear from you. So put together your own list of top 5 kisses in Star Trek or a list from any of our past shows. Give us a call at the Tricorder Transmissions at 609-512-5527, or you can just record your own voicemail and send me a DM. We can hook up that way. So hopefully we'll hear from you so you can be featured on the next episode of Trek Ranks. And on the next episode of Trek Ranks, we are going back to our series vibe episodes. We're doing the top 5 Enterprise vibes. Ooh. So we started that series with Voyager, and now we're doing Enterprise vibes. So it's a tough one. Jen, Matt, and Teresa, if you had to choose an Enterprise vibe off the top of your head, what would it be, Jen?
I love the grapplers.
Perfect. I mean, the grapplers is definitely a vibe. Definitely a vibe. Matt, anything off the top of your head?
Well, to go with this episode, I think second to DS9, everybody's having sex on Enterprise. So, I mean, lots of loving going on.
Okay. Teresa, so we know this is not your go-to rewatch series, but anything you can think of?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking of, is it Through a Mirror Darkly?
Yes,
title?
in a mirror. In a mirror
darkly. Yeah, I mean, it's funny because I think that episode like made me, I love a good mirror universe episode anyway, but like that weirdly made me care more about the characters, especially Hoshi, because I'm like, my girl
we go.
Is amazing, and like let her be amazing and evil, and I loved it. So yeah.
In a Mirror Darkly is definitely an Enterprise vibe. We already recorded that one, so some of these picks may be featured on the episode. I can tell you that.
Channel closed. Reset. Subspace communications. Scrambler code Riker 1.
Scrambler code Riker 1 acknowledged. All right, let's close this episode out with a huge thanks to Jenn Tifft, Matt Hansen, and Teresa Jusino. Incredible topic. I knew it was going to be amazing. So any final Trek Scrambler codes any of you want to relay before you depart? Jen.
Yeah, I'm going to go splash some cold water in my face. Thank you for having me. This was fun.
Fantastic. Matt, thanks for coming back.
Thanks for having me. I'm going to go watch some of these picks because you guys made me think. But until I'm with you all next time, I am closing hailing frequencies.
I love it. It'll probably be at STLV. Teresa, thanks for coming back.
Thank you so much. This was so much fun. And I am going to go watch all the Spock to Pring episodes now. And if you want to read any writing I've done on Star Trek over at The Mary Sue, that's themarysue.com, especially my Justice for T'Pring episode, because, yeah, she's my girl.
I love it. I have to look that up now. All right. And thanks again, everyone, for engaging with us here on episode 177 of the TrekRanks podcast. As always, I want to close by saying I'm looking forward to standing with you again here in this place where I belong.
It's me, Martia. Listen, no one has ever escaped from Rurapente.
Except us?
It is possible. I know how to get outside the shield.
How do we fit in?
Getting outside the shield is easy. But after that, it's up to you to get us off the surface before we freeze. Can you?
It's possible.
I can't make it alone. And you're likeliest candidate to come in this hellhole for months.
Candidate for what?
Go to Lift 7 in the morning for mining duty. I'll see you there. Don't disappoint me.
What is it with you, anyway? Still think we're finished?
More than ever.
Just want to remind everyone again that the entire TrekRanks catalog is available for you to download and listen to at TrekRanks.com and on your podcast player of choice. Our episodes never get carbon dated, so check out the topics you've missed and maybe just want to listen to again over at TrekRanks.com. And a reminder to check out our friends 5-Year Mission at 5yearmission.net. They're writing a song for every episode of Star Trek, and you won't believe how great their music is. They also have a podcast at the Trek Geeks Network, so seek them out. You won't regret it.
Remove all characters except for Michael Sullivan.
Can I ask you something, Kate?
Please.
Would you mind if I kissed you?
I might even kiss you back.
There's no point in waiting any longer, is there?
Oh, I think I've waited long